Joining me now is Congresswoman Jennifer McClellan, Democrat of Virginia. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us. Starting with your state, Supreme Court overturning Virginia's new House map yesterday. What's your reaction tonight?
You know, it's an outrageous decision that strained the interpretation of when the election is to meet, to reach a result that the conservative justices of the court wanted, overturning the will of the voters. And frankly, it's galling to me that in states like Tennessee, in Texas, and Indiana, these states where they don't even let the voters see the maps before they adopt them, let alone vote or have their say on them. And yet in a state like Virginia, where the voters had their say, approved the constitutional amendment, that vote's being thrown out the window. But we're going to take our anger and our frustration, and we're going to go out and win these seats anyway, and make sure that the voters who are now understandably angry at what is happening, not just here in Virginia, but across the country in response to the Calais decision, we're going to take that anger out, and we are going to make sure that Democrats win this November and take the House anyway.
And I might add, it was a contested vote, and the people voted that they wanted this map. Millions of dollars was spent saying no, and they lost. And now the court comes back. It would seem that Virginia Democrats did everything right in terms of putting redistricting before voters through a ballot measure. You contrast that with red states right now, where Republicans are ramming new maps through their legislatures or stopping votes via executive order. Yet yesterday's ruling claims that Democratic lawmakers didn't meet procedural requirements to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot last month. What happened here, in your opinion? And is the court's decision the final word in Virginia?
Well, the court's decision all boiled down to whether the first passage of this constitutional amendment happened before Election Day. And they said that they ignored precedent, they ignored years of Election Day being Election Day, and said that because the constitutional amendment passed after early voting had started, it was null and void. But I think they stretched their interpretation of the word before the election to reach the result that they wanted. And it's unfortunate. I know that our Attorney General and the Democrats in the General Assembly are exploring all options. I know there are lots of constitutional lawyers looking at this. There has been a stay requested so that it could go to the U.S. Supreme Court. But frankly, after what the U.S. Supreme Court did, putting another nail in the coffin of the Voting Rights Act, I don't trust them to fix it. And so I think while we will exhaust every legal avenue, we now need to mobilize, organize, and turn out the vote in ways that we haven't seen since the election of Barack Obama, if not more than that. We cannot give up. And now this is a political question. And now we have to make sure that everybody that is angry about this decision, everybody that is angry about the Supreme Court gutting the Voting Rights Act, everybody that is angry about what Donald Trump and congressional Republicans and Republicans across this country are doing to try to erase not only Black representation and silence Black voices, but the voices and votes of anybody that disagrees with them. But they know they can't win this November on the merits of their policies and on their actions. We just got to mobilize and get the vote out. And just like my great-grandfather, took a literacy test and voted anyway, my father, my grandfather, they paid poll taxes. They did not let any obstacle get in their way to casting that ballot. And we need to bring that same energy in 2026 for the midterms.
Now, this decision may cost House Democrats as many as 4 additional seats as they try to retake the chamber in November. Meanwhile, red states are gerrymandering as fast as they can to block that and satisfy Trump. Is it realistic that Democrats can stop them with setbacks like these so close to November, Congresswoman?
I think what Republicans are ignoring is when you try to gerrymander these seats, and especially by cracking Black voters, among others, you make the seats more competitive. I think South Carolina is grappling with that right now. So let's go compete. let's go make sure that we are mobilizing people here in Virginia. We definitely can take 2 seats. We can probably take 3. We might even be able to take 4 because Trump is that unpopular and the voters are that mad. But we have got to go out and register and organize and make sure if we can't win through redistricting, then we just need to win on election day through sheer grit and force, organizing and getting out the vote.
Now, Trump started this redistricting fight to keep the House. Democrats responded by going directly to voters. Now they're the ones getting blocked by courts, while Republicans, unleashed by the Louisiana decision, are just drawing the maps they want and using their legislative majorities to pass them. What's your message to voters feeling discouraged that Republicans will just use their power to escape accountability for Trump's unpopularity?
Look, we have to be resilient and we cannot give up. We have been here before, generations before me, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents. We have faced setbacks before, and we have pushed through and we haven't given up. We cannot give up. If we give up, we definitely lose. We have got to organize and mobilize just like we did in the first and second civil rights generation and movement. We are now in the third. It is time for us to get out and turn this anger, turn this frustration into action and mobilize and win at the ballot box. And we can do it.
All right. Thank you to Congresswoman from Virginia, Jennifer McClellan.